What is ASP web hosting? ASP web hosting refers to web hosting companies who provide support for ASP or active server page. What is ASP? ASP short of active server page are HTML pages with embedded ASP scripts. ASP scripts are processed on the server before the page is sent to the visitor's browser. ASP allow you to create dynamic database-driven pages. A visitor can access data in our database and interact with pages objects such as ActiveS or Java components. How does ASP work? When you type in a URL in the address box of your browser, you are asking the web server to send the file to your computer. If the file is standard HTML, then the file that your web browser receives will look exactly the same as it did on the web server. However, if an ASP file is sent to your computer from the server, it first runs the HTML code, then the ASP code. The ASP code could be anything such as the current time, date, or other such information. How to find an ASP web host? You will need to find a web host who will host your website on a Windows server. It is safer to host your ASP pages on a Windows server as they are more stable and most ASP components work specific to Windows. You also need to consider if your website uses a database such as SQL and Access. Make sure your website host provides support for the type of database your website requires. Domain name server DNS. Each computer on the internet is assigned a unique address called an IP address. A typical IP address looks like this: 199.123.456.7. It is very difficult to keep in mind the IP addresses of all the websites we visit daily. Words are easier to remember than a string of numbers. This is where domain names come into the pictures. When you visit a website, all you need to know is its URL. Computer remember numbers and DNS help us convert the URL into an IP address that the computer can understand. When you type in domain.com into your browser, the browser first needs to get the IP address of www.domain.com. The browser contacts a DNS service to query the location of the server where the web pages are stored. Think of it as a directory service of IP address. The classic phonebook directory analog. You need to find the company Joyce Bookstore. You look in the directory and see that it is located on 123 Main Street. Then you go to the address to visit the store. Which web server, Linux or Windows? The truth of the matter is these two web server platforms are functionally equivalent. It all depends on what your hosting needs and what you are most comfortable with. Both platforms differ in cost, ease of use, versatility and stability. Windows costs more than Linux. Linux allows for running scripts written in PHP, Perl, Python and other Unix originated languages. It usually supports MySQL and PostgreSQL databases. Windows allow for running ASP scripts and utilizing .NET and other Microsoft technologies. It supports Microsoft SQL Server and Access database. If your website does not require any scripting support, you should choose Linux hosting because they are most economical. However, if your website needs scripting and database support, you should choose the platform that supports the technologies you use.